Welcome back, darlings. This week's video, I'm reviewing Garage Therapy Snow Foam V2 and I'm comparing it against the perennial favourite Bilt Hamber Autofoam. Now, unlike nearly everyone else's reviews, this is going to be on 7 very different cars, so sit back and enjoy, and I'll talk to you at the end. Alright, let's start this review by comparing V2 to V1. You've got V2 on the front there, V1 on the back, and you can instantly see the difference in their viscosity. And this is 7 minutes of dwell time, heavily sped up as you can see, and I can kind of see that V2 is keeping the panel actually wetter, even though the foam might be dwelling a bit longer for V1, and it definitely dwells longer on the floor, it just doesn't disappear. Anyway, we're rinsing it off, and then I'm going to give it the swipe test, and you're going to see where we get to. Now, to my eyes, V2 is marginally cleaner here than V1, which is good because they claim it's supposed to be, but I think it's visible here as well. So we've got Garage Therapy on the right, Autofoam on the left, and then there's about 5 minutes of dwell time coming up. And you can see in that period, it's the last bit where you can really tell the difference and just how much product is still left dwelling on the paint. Alright, time for the swipe test yet again. And if you're looking at this thinking, I can barely tell the difference, that's the case for me too. I would say these are exactly the same as each other, so well done to Garage Therapy. Doing it on the back of the van now, and it's the same thing, so it's the Garage Therapy on the left, Autofoam on the right, but it's a completely vertical surface, so a bit different, a bit of crossover in the middle there, but not too much. But it's a bit of a different proposition, and you can see on a sheer vertical surface like this, they both kind of ran off at about the same sort of pace. However, the Garage Therapy was definitely holding on for a bit longer, especially on the plastic, but that was probably true of the paintwork too. That's an impressive feat, I think, and it's definitely one of the biggest improvements of the new version. From what I can see here to my eyes, the Garage Therapy side is cleaner than the Autofoam side. What do you think? Victim number 3 are the courtesy cars from my local garage. Got the Garage Therapy on the left again and the Autofoam on the right, and again for about 5-6 minutes worth of dwell going on here. And a really good example, completely unprotected, really filthy car here, and it's really hanging on for a lot longer than the Autofoam is, and I think that's one of its key attributes, and it helps it work better because it's staying around for longer. And I would say, looking at this, we could call this a dead heat, which again is very impressive because that wasn't the case with the previous version. Number 4 is a GR Yaris that's absolutely filthy. Now for this one, I let it dwell for about 4 or so minutes, so not quite as long. I hadn't realised I misread my watch. When I came to look at it afterwards, because I did it with the stopwatch, so I could actually tell because I pressed it to stop, and I found that the Autofoam had cleaned marginally better. It's not much, but I think you could tell the difference, and I would potentially say that's down to I didn't leave it to dwell as long, and I did find that it's probably fairly consistent, not captured on other videos, but if I hadn't let it dwell long enough, the Autofoam bested it if it was under 5 minutes of dwell. However, it could dwell longer as well. Now it's an Audi TT, and in this case actually the Autofoam is on the back and the Garage Therapy is on the front. You could probably tell by the foam characteristics, but I wanted to clarify that for you. It's the lighting seems to be throwing this off a bit, and especially the bit in the middle didn't get as much overlap, so I don't think it quite got as clean, but either extreme you could tell that they were both clean and pretty equally clean as well, so again, dead heat. portion we can, and it was absolutely filthy. But I found here on the back, you see that the Autofoam had really run off, whereas that Garage Therapy was really hanging on, so that's great. But I also found this colour car is impossible to see the dirt on once you've wetted it down. Again, absolutely even in my eyes. It was great. Really, really happy with that. The final test then is this very mucky Tesla. Lots of motorway miles here and salt and road grime. I've got the IK foamer here rather than my foam cannon for reasons I won't go into. But as you can see, I've applied it in both of those products, let it dwell for about 5 minutes. Now, interestingly, they've run off at roughly the same sort of pace this time, which is not something I'd seen. So the foam that came out of the foamer didn't seem to be as potent or as thick or as stable as what would come out of the foam cannon. That's worth considering. There's no need for a swipe test on this one, is there? That Autofoam has clearly taken off more than the Garage Therapy. This is about the only instance I've come across that being the case. I think maybe if it's foamed normally to a snow foam lance, more product be on there, it might last longer, but it doesn't also surprise me. Finally, there is a product that is as good, if not better, than Autofoam. As you can see across those 7 cars, for the vast majority of the time, this cleans as well. Some cases a bit better, 1 or 2 cases not quite as good, but overall, an absolute equal. That's in terms of just flat out cleaning power. I really enjoy the experience of using this. To me, this is everything I want in a foam. Cleans well, clings well, so it dwells for a longer time than Autofoam. Smells a bit nicer, looks nice, and this is very, very important. Instead of these ridiculous jerry cans that now the Bilt Hamber stuff comes in with their proprietary sized cap, I think this is 62mm, which means you can only use these pump dispensers. The Garage Therapy stuff comes in this traditional sort of drum. This is actually an old Auto Wheel one. I've kept it because it's really much nicer than the new ones. But you can tip these up and then have a dispensing tap on the end. Way, way easier, much less messy. These things fling it around everywhere. So, all told, the package with the Garage Therapy is better. Obviously there are some things to consider, price being one of them. This is around £35 for 5 litres, Autofoam's around 18, 19, and touchless is around 23. I always thought, and you can see my previous videos here, Autofoam bests touchless, and now this is equal to Autofoam. So when you're talking Autofoam, that's usually at 5% PIR, that's their maximum dilution. This is 3. And for me, with my setup, it costs less to fill up the foam lance and therefore do a car or two, depending how big the cars are, with a litre of this versus touchless. Autofoam is cheaper, don't get me wrong, it is cheaper because it's only 4%, so you're using less anyway, and it's a cheaper product to start with. But I think the experience of this is far better. This is the one I would advise people to go and get. Although if you're on an absolute budget, Autofoam is brilliant. Of course, you can use lots of other things. You can use Surfex HD as a foam if you really wanted to. But these ones are kind of designed to be snow foam applied products and therefore work in the way that you'd want them to. Absolutely fantastic. Now I'm happy that I've answered my initial question of, is the new Garage Therapy Foam V2 as good as Autofoam or better? Yes. And I thought that would be the end of my quest, but it's not. Thanks to Slims, I've got Kokemi Super Foam, Varenga B, which is more, or VB, that's more of like a TFR, and Gentle Snow Foam with Green Star to test. So I'm going to do those on some future cars and see where we get to. That's going to take, again, a little while to come out, but I will do those and probably compare them now to Garage Therapy, because this is my preference. I hope that was useful. I really enjoyed making it, and let me know what your thoughts are if you've used both the products or what other products you like to use too. Thanks very much. See you in the next one.